Hi guys, welcome on in. This is Unraveling the Urantia book, and we are still in the foreword. Let's see here. I believe we just went over God. Now we're going to be going over the first source and center. How exciting. So I will read that section and then go over certain aspects of my opinion and my knowledge to connect with your opinions and your knowledge. Let's begin. Total infinite reality is existential in 7 phases and as 7 coordinate absolutes. 1. The first source and center. 2. The second source and center. 3. The third source and center. 4. The Isle of Paradise. 5. The Deity Absolute. 6. The Universal Absolute. 7. The Unqualified Absolute. God, as the first source and center, is primal in relation to total reality, unqualified. The first source and center is infinite, as well as eternal, and is therefore limited or conditioned only by volition. God, the Universal Father, is the personality of the first source and center, and as such maintains personal relations of infinite control over all coordinate and subordinate sources and centers. Such control is personal and infinite in potential, even though it may never actually function owing to the perfection of the function of such coordinate and subordinate sources and centers and personalities. The first source and center is, therefore, primal in all domains, deified or undeified, personal or impersonal, actual or potential, finite or infinite. No thing or being, no relativity or finality exist except in direct or indirect relation to and dependence on the primary of the first source and center. The first source and center is related to the universe as 1. The gravity forces of the material universes are convergent in the gravity center of neither paradise. That is just why the geographic location of his person is eternally fixed in absolute relation to the force energy center of the nether or material plane of paradise. But the absolute personality of deity exists on the upper or spiritual plane of paradise. 2. The mind forces are convergent in the infinite spirit, the differential and divergent cosmic mind, and the 7 master spirits, the factualizing mind of the Supreme as a time-space experience in Majeston. 3. The universe spirit forces are convergent in the eternal Sun. 4. The unlimited capacity for deity action resides in the deity absolute. 5. The unlimited capacity for infinity response exists in the unqualified absolute. 6. The 2 absolutes, qualified and unqualified, are coordinated and unified in and by the universal absolute. 7. The potential personality of an evolutionary moral being or of any other moral being is centered in the personality of the Universal Father. Reality, as comprehended by the finite beings, is partial, relative, and shadowy. The maximum deity reality fully comprehensible by evolutionary finite creatures is embraced within the Supreme Being. Nevertheless, there are antecedents and external realities, super-finite realities, which are ancestral to this supreme deity of evolutionary time-space creatures. In attempting to portray the origin and nature of universal reality, we are forced to employ the technique of time-space reasoning in order to reach the level of the finite mind. Therefore, must many of the simultaneous events of eternity be presented as sequential transactions. as a time-space creature would view the origin and differentiation of reality, the eternal and finite I Am achieved deity liberation from the fetters of unqualified infinity through the exercise of inherent and external free will, and this divorcement from unqualified infinity produced the first absolute divinity tension. This tension of infinity differential is resolved by the universal absolute, which functions to unify and coordinate the dynamic infinity of total deity and the static infinity of the unqualified absolute. In this original transaction, the theoretical I Am achieved the realization of personality by becoming the eternal Father of the original Son, simultaneously with becoming the eternal source of the Isle of Paradise, coexistent with the differentiation of the Son from the Father, and in the presence of Paradise there appeared the person of the infinite Spirit and the central universe of Havana. With the appearance of coexistent personal deity, the external Son and the infinite Spirit, the Father, escaped, as a personality, from otherwise inevitable diffusion throughout the potential of total deity. Thenceforth, it is only in Trinity association with his two deity equals that the Father fills all deity potential, while increasingly experiential deity is being actualized on the divinity levels of supremacy, ultimacy, and absoluteness. The concept of the I Am is a philosophic concession which we make to the time-bound, space-fettered, finite mind of man, to the impossibility of creature comprehension of externity existences, non-beginning, non-ending realities and relationships. To the time-space creature, all things must have a beginning, save only the one uncaused, the primeval cause of causes. Therefore, do we conceptualize this philosophic value level as the I Am, at the same time instructing all creatures from that the eternal Son and the infinite Spirit are co-eternal with the I Am. In other words, that there never was a time when the I Am was not the Father of the Son and with him of the Spirit. The infinite is used to denote the fullness, the finality implied by the primacy of the first source and center. The theoretical I Am is a creature philosophic extension of the infinity of will, but the infinite is an actual value level, representing the eternity intention of the true infinity of the absolute and unfettering free will of the universal Father. This concept is sometimes designated the Father Infinite. Much of the confusion of all orders of beings, high and low, in their efforts to discover the Father Infinite is inherent in their limitations of comprehension. The absolute primacy of the Universal Father is not apparent on the sub-infinite levels. Therefore, is it probable that only the eternal Son and the infinite Spirit truly know the Father as an infinity. To all other personalities, such a concept represents the exercise of faith. Whoa, guys. I feel like the explanation of the first source and center, going over the 7 coordinate absolutes, perfectly describes the Templar system, better known in religious terms as a chakra system. The first source and center, the second source and center, the third source and center, I feel as though are describing the lower chakras, the lower Templars. So the first source and center is your root Templar. And it's speaking also about dimensions. And I feel like the first source and center is talking about the first dimension of vibration. So reality requires a specific vibration for you to interpret who you are, because you're reading the safety, and that's where your faith. So towards the end, it speaks about creatures that are existing and having faith. And I believe that you have stronger faith when all of your Templars, all of your chakra systems are coinciding with the 7 absolutes of existence. And the unqualified absolute is speaking about not having any qualifications for one specific matter source, which means that you're not separating or dividing up yourself. You're actually just being that I am concept. And by being everything, by being the I am, now you're unified with universal source. You're unified with the absoluteness of being an infinite creature. So it's interesting. We can even go through the Isle of Paradise. A lot of people condone this as heaven, and that would match up with your heart chakra or your heart Templar. And this is bringing heaven on earth. And I firmly believe that by bringing unconditional love, this is bringing heaven to earth. By having love for yourself and others, this is what it means to live in the Isle of Paradise. And then it has, let's see here, your throat Templar, your throat chakra would be the deity absolute. So now it's a deity we were going over in my other video. So if you want to check out what deity and divinity mean, it's a characteristic, and your throat Templar is expressing your unique characteristics. So now we have a platform, we have a dimension that gives space to that characteristic. And then we have the third eye Templar of reality, and that's talking about the universal absolute. So now your reality, you're able to channel into either different perspectives. You're able to channel into the universe, and then you can minimize. You're either channeling to realities within the universe we live in, channel into realities within the galaxy we live in, channel into realities within the planet we exist, and it just gets micromanaged until we can channel our own reality. We can channel others' realities. We can channel the environment's reality, and then again we're back to the unqualified absolute. So I think that's interesting, and that is how I'm perceiving these absolutes. I'm perceiving them through Templars, light columns of existence, and having that I am source. So yes, that's my opinion. And it does speak about gravity. So it's also telling me that the first source and center, the root Templar, the gravity, this is showing pressure in feeling safe. This is showing components of existing in a physical realm. So connecting with that root Templar, I think, is super important. That is what I have to say. Let me know what you think. I'm very, very curious and excited to know what you're thinking about. I'm kind of looking through to see if there's anything else to speak about in here. So next week we will be touching base on universe reality. Very exciting. But I'm excited for this. My name is Evren Ryu. I am an angel seed assisting fellow starseed beings through these readings, as well as through my starseed products and services, and my life coaching, the Starseed Way programs. Thank you so much. Anything, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one or in group work, I'm available at cosmicenergy-spiritualwellness.com. Namaste, blessed. Have a beautiful day.